Oh boy, YouTube. Last night was very, very interesting. Joel and I, we made a pizza. We're ready to go. We're ready to be entertained. And Lucas did not let us down. He dropped his video explaining why he left T-Rex Arms. And I just have to say, it's a really interesting story. Um, Great video. I believe every word that Lucas is saying, by the way. He comes off as very sincere, very credible in the video. Even gets a little bit emotional, you know. Not like Jordan Peterson levels of crying, but he gets. I mean, you could just tell he's like very passionate about what he's saying, and gets a little emotional. Uh, where I think it stands now, T-Rex is cooked. Lucas came out and told a story, um, kind of going back to the beginning of T-Rex Arms with how he started the company, and then how did we get into this situation where Lucas ends up quitting his own company? How does that happen? Like, how does that make sense? Well, he explains it. He tells a story of how his brothers approached him and they're like, "Oh, we want to co-own it with you. We want to work together." And he ends up signing legal documents. I don't, it sounded like he didn't have an attorney there. And these guys just wrote up documents that made themselves majority owners and hand them to Lucas, and then he signs them. And then there's all kinds of other questions you might have. You're like, well, what's that family dynamic all about? And you're like, wait, aren't those guys 10 and 12 years older than you, Lucas? Like, oh, weren't you like in your early 20s when this all happened? Those kinds of things. Oh, it was a lot of interesting stuff, and it was explained by Lucas. It sounds to me, honestly, like he was abused, taken advantage of, and ultimately he put himself, with these guys' help, but with his help too, put himself in a pretty bad position where the best play for him ended up being quitting the company that he started. Now he's in a position he can go start other companies and do whatever he wants. I imagine he took the best employees with him and he's going to go do that thing. Um, at one part of the video, it seemed like his brothers were okay with this. They're like, yeah, why don't if you just quit, then you know, like I think they understand that there's going to be a rift here and that they're okay with it. So yeah, it was amazing to have it explained. But anyway, um, super bad for T-Rex. Obviously, they seem like shyster douchebags at this point, and I don't think people are going to want to support them. Depending on what they have to say, which I can't imagine is going to be a whole lot that's going to help them. Um, yeah, it's like fantastic. Okay. And so what was the other good part about this? Yeah. So now where it stands is Lucas can go do his own thing, and they owe him millions of dollars to buy him out of the shares, and they have to pay up pretty soon. So we'll see how all of that goes. Personally, I think he's going to end up getting stiffed on a lot of that. Um, but we will see how that goes. Let me go through a full summary of the video. A guy was nice enough to write this up. All right, AI summary of the footage here. Uh, founded T-Rex Arms in 2013 with his own money. All right, he gave up majority ownership to his brothers in early 2016. All right, and he said in the video he didn't understand necessarily that he was doing that at that time. Right, further diluted his ownership in late 2019 to bring in another owner. I believe that was Isaac. Married in 2020, and part of this talking about like a lot of the video that Lucas talked about was with his wife, and he likes his wife a lot, and having her in the mix changed things a lot between him and the rest of his family. And kind of my take on that as I was listening, it was like, because I'm not coming into this cold. Like I know Lucas. I've met his wife as well, and it was just kind of like, okay, so you have somebody from outside of this kind of gross family dynamic here where Lucas is getting taken advantage of, right? Somebody on the outside, just like he's just in, she comes into the mix and she's just kind of looking at how all this works and just reacting like a normal person would, like, hey, I don't think this is good for you, Lucas. Like that kind of stuff. He didn't say that stuff explicitly, but that's just kind of what it sounded like. It's like, oh, you get another set of eyes in here and someone they're not impartial, they're like pro Lucas, and they're kind of like, what is going on here? Anyway, experienced a difficult period with his family due to their lack of welcome towards his wife. Yeah, so if his wife is advocating for him, obviously they're not going to like her. That's going to make them unhappy because, you know, people that are taking advantage of other people don't like it when other people tell them not to do that. Uh, Disagreements arose regarding the company's future and direction. He attempted a buyout, which was rejected. So Lucas told that story as well. How, well, the reason he didn't buy them out is they wouldn't take the money. He made two offers, I believe, which they wouldn't take. So this puts him in a situation where his only play then is to force them to buy him out. And he does that by quitting. An employee sexually harassed his wife, and the company's response was deemed inadequate. Yeah, so it took him. I think an employee sent explicit messages to his wife or like explicit photographs and was still working there like 3 months later until they were ultimately fired. Um, yeah, I don't think that happened if somebody sent Isaac's wife those type of messages. So it's like I think they're just signaling like no, they hate her, like they hate his wife, and they're like signaling that very clearly. Um, he resigned in May, intended to buy the company back, but decided to focus on new ventures. Man, it would be awesome if Lucas does end up back in control of T-Rex Arms. He can go in there and just assassinate all the traders. And I don't mean literally assassinate them. I mean assassinate their employment status. Just go through there like, boom, 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 boom. Just get rid of these people. Um, Lucas stated his intentions. He wants to share the journey of building these new companies with his audience, yes. And essentially, the video is a personal account of Lucas's journey with T-Rex Arms, highlighting the struggles he faced with his family and business partners. Yes. All right, very good AI summary there. So, yeah, that's what happened. And the reaction so far. Well, let's go look at the reaction. But to be honest, I think T-Rex is cooked. All right. From Grantham, Lucas, you've always been a friend. I have no doubt you'll be successful in whatever you do. Much love from me. Another comment, betrayed and taken for a ride by his own family. T-Rex Arms will never see another penny from me. All right. This video is the reason I was a T-Rex customer. Lucas stood behind his views and values, just a guy with a passion who is willing to share those to the public with no shame of what people thought because it was his belief. Thanks for staying true to yourself. This was another lesson shown to us why we started following you to begin with. Excited to see what you do next. Lucas Bodkin, subscribed. T-Rex Arms, unsubscribed. I predict Lucas will buy the company for 10 cents on the dollar in 18 to 24 months once the other three owners see the revenue fall off a cliff. All right, T-Rex Arms has lost my business. Yeah, T-Rex Arms without Lucas is Top Gear without Jeremy Clarkson, Hammond, and May. T-Rex Arms is dead. Lucas, we weren't watching T-Rex Arms. We were watching you. We got your back. Yeah, I mean, just like the overwhelming support for Lucas in the comments, as I imagine there should be. Again, I'm going to put a link down to this video in the description. You should definitely watch it. It's super interesting, and like I said, it gets a little emotional in there. And if you just kind of read through the lines, you're just like, wow, they really took advantage of this guy. They really did. And I have to admit, I overestimated his brothers previously. I thought they were smarter and better than it sounds like they actually are. So there it is.